The Dove Network welcomes you to the following presentation of Double Dropkick Podcast.
Yes, sir. Take two. Welcome in to DDK Saturday Night Live, coming to you through the power of your internet, right here on the DAB network. So excited to have you guys on. Real quick, we had an issue with YouTube's problems. YouTube immediately had sent out, there was an issue with something that went on with the program going live. It didn't start it. It started it in 2 other countries because I got some messages from Australia, United Kingdom, and the one gentleman watching in New Zealand, Mayan. I appreciate it. Why did it restart? This is why it's restarting. We had a problem. It would not go live here. So we were so very apologetic that we are late, and we apologize to our guest. But tonight, you know what it is. You know how we do it here on the program. It's DDK Saturday night, and we're so excited to have our guest here with us tonight. It's going to be a fun show with him.
Excited to have our guest here with us tonight.
And it is going to be a great time with them, and we can't wait to have them on in just a few minutes here. But first, we wanted to give a shout out to our friend Pocast. Check them out, Spanning the Globe podcast, every Thursday night, 8 p.m., 7 Central. Andy, Ben, Richard, and Mark Magger do a tremendous job over there every single week. We love those guys. Help them get to 500 subscribers so that they can give away a belt. Also, check out C4 Authentic Belts on the Facebook page. And you got to also check them out on c4authenticbelts.com. They are the only one that has partnered with Crumb Rind themselves to produce one of the most spectacular crumb rinds ever made. I have it in my collection, and it is unbelievable. You have got to check them out. Also, check us out on Instagram over at Double Dropkick Podcast and on X at DDK Podcast. We do a great stuff over there to have a whole lot of fun. You guys know who I am. I am KEV Kev. And let me bring on my main friend and my co-host, one of the great guys of the hobby. Welcome in our co-host, Mr. Ethan Thompson. What's up, buddy? What's up?
Just chilling, bro. It's Saturday, That's what we're doing.
What was up with that?
Stupid YouTube telling you.
We have never had that happen. And I was like, comments are coming in a little slow. What's going on here? And then our producer goes, you're not live here. I'm like, well, I'm live somewhere because we're getting a couple comments like, Kev, what's up, dude? What's going on, man? Rock and roll here in Australia. So we're excited to have our guest. How are you doing, buddy?
Bro, I'm living life. I'm alive.
Hey, that's what you can do. We want to send our thoughts and prayers on behalf of the Double Dropkick podcast to the family of Sabu. One of the icons of wrestling passed away. It's another reminder that our guys, our heroes, are people that gave us such entertainment, such putting their body on the line for not even the money that they get today. All the things that they did, we're losing them one by one. So if you get a chance to see them, thank them, send them a message, support them, whatever they do, do it, because I'm getting to be ready to be 50 years old, and these icons that I look up to, wrestling wise, Flair, rock and roll, whatever, they're all getting old and they're not going to be here. So take your time to thank them, see them, get your pictures, but also tonight to say a prayer for him and his family. And from all of us here and Ethan, may the God of comfort be with them. And we'll see him again soon. And may he rest in peace. Everybody, please put that same thing in the chats tonight. The second half of our program, we have Chris and Nick coming over from BBB. But we want to get into tonight's program, and the comments are flying off the handle as usual with all the great comments. We will say hello to everybody as we bring these guests on, because I don't want to have them waiting, any longer. We're already, 5 minutes behind on our time with them. So we'll go say hello to that. That's interesting that there's a couple people out there that irritates people, that we go through and say hello to people on our comments and we talk to them whenever. That's the most bizarre thing I have ever heard. This show is for you, about the belt hobby. And our tagline is tune in, comment, and be a part of the show. You are just as much as the show as anybody else when you comment.
All that means is that they're lying because they're watching.
Yeah. There's Richard Ward checking in. How you doing there, buddy? Andy Bolger checking in. Ready for another DDK Saturday night. How's it going, buddy? Jim, good to see you, buddy. Always with a great picture. Christopher Raines, one of our solids, great guys in the hobby, who says hello just about to everybody. Hello, Terry Weaver. Good evening. How are you doing? Welcome into the program tonight. Good to see you. Hope you're going to enjoy a great time of the roast of Pondwater Dave that we're going to do tonight. As everybody don't know, Dave officially, FedEx dropped off his issue of being the referee Playgirl of the Year. So we're going to unveil that centerfold for everybody tonight. It's going to be a fun time. But do not go to Dave's house if you're driving a FedEx, because shotgun pellets hurt, I heard. So stay away from all of that. Good evening, Max. How you doing? Keith, welcome into the program. Good to see you. Big Boys Belts checking in. We're going to see them in just a little bit. Keith, what's up, buddy? Hope you're doing good. Andy Bolger. Richard Ward, I'm thinking he will. Good evening. Mark Maggard, what are you doing there, buddy? We're going to talk about Mark Maggard. He's got some leather openings in the program, too. This is Ethan Thompson. I don't know who he is, but I hear he is on the show. Welcome in there, buddy. Richard Ward, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Hold on, no music. Yeah, everything's screwed up at the beginning. We'll fix it all and get that out. Beeb says, okay, let's revisit the toilet paper topic because it was quite the trigger. Yeah. There was one individual that just hates on the hobby. He was like, man, this podcast was talking about toilet paper. Every week when we do Spanning the Globe promos, we throw out a joke skit to what their topic is going to be. And last 2 weeks ago, what was it? Do you like your toilet paper over the roll or under the roll? So this week's topic is pedicures for men. Do you get them or do you not get them? So check out Spanning the Globe and see what they check out.
Manis and petties.
Amy's checking in behind the scenes. I think she is going to bring on Iron Anderson. I hear he is there at the house, so she's going to bring him on and talk. And I'm going to tell him if he touches Ricky Morton anytime for the rest of his life that I'm not going to be a fan of his anymore. Anthony Myers, welcome in, raising the belt high. Good to see you, buddy. Hope everything is doing well. It's up now. That time is what matters. Glad to be here to watch. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate that. Toilet paper is on your brain. Deuce Legends, check out his page. He is in the program and saying hello to everybody. Big boys, Christopher, Stanley, I'm here. Darren, hooray, buddy. How you doing? Typing away in that picture there.
I can't be before we get with these guests, though, we got to make sure these guys do something for us.
Yes, tell them what they got to do.
Take 1 second out of your busy night. We appreciate you guys being here, but hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, helps us out, man. Keeps the show rolling, keeps everything, all the juice flowing, and keeps everybody mad. What up, Max, Absolutely. My dog?
You just time out on the show, scroll down where you see that thumbs up, click that thumbs up for us. That does the best thing. We're so very appreciative. We hit over 2,000 subscribers 2 weeks ago. Now we're over 2,500. We can't wait to do our belt giveaway. We keep growing, and it's all because of you. We thank you so very much that you take your time out to click, to watch, to view, to get it through your day, your work day. A lot of you over in, like I say, in UK, love us. I don't know why, because I'm an ugly American, but you guys love this program, and we thank you so very much that a lot of you watch it, say it gets through your work day. Thank you, because you make this show what it is, and it's so very fun for us to talk about wrestling, the belt hobby, sports world, a little bit of gaming, and everything else. Max is on the brain. We'll continue to say hello to our guests. Chris, how is everybody doing there? But we want to bring on our guests because we don't want to hold them on any longer. So let's get on over to there so that we can say hello to them. We're going to bring on these guys, have a great podcast. It's on Tuesday night, Talking Rasslin with an N, with Pondwater and Amy. They do a wonderful job. You got to check them out. We'll go over all those things today as we speak to them. We're going to have a perplexed amount of questions to talk about them. So let's welcome on the program the first lady of the Iron Anderson fan club, Amy, and Pondwater Dave. How is everybody doing today? How's everybody doing? Good to see you guys.
You may want to mute them. I don't think they know they're muted.
Did they mute themselves or something?
No.
There we go. They're on now.
Oh, there we go. Hey, everybody.
There we go. How are y'all doing?
Good. What a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for taking the time out to be here. We are a fan of your program and all the stuff that you guys do. It's fun watching your show. I get a lot of enjoyment. I probably comment too much, and that's why I got censored the other day. And Dave was like, I'm not putting another comment up of that guy from Double Dropkick. I don't know who the heck he is. Even though I put his FedEx driver in his pond, I still couldn't get my comment up there. But you guys do a great show on that. But we apologize for whatever happened to YouTube to delay you guys coming on. We're excited to have you guys here on a. Does it feel weird being on a Saturday night in front of your cameras and whatever?
Kind of. A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Your introduction and all the stuff you do before your show, like that kind of got me all pumped up, though. That's pretty awesome.
That's what I'm talking about.
We got some work to do, Amy.
I know.
That's what I'm talking about. But we got to give it up first. we got to first give it up to ladies and gentlemen, the first lady of the Arn Anderson fan club.
Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray!
Everybody knows that Arn Anderson is my favorite wrestler, individual heel. Him and Bobby Eaton are right there. I think Bobby Eaton, and we can talk about that too. I think Bobby Eaton does not get enough recognition as being one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. I think he absolutely is, and it's so disrespectful to him, his legacy, and his family that him, his tag partner, and Jim Cornette are not in the WWE Hall of Fame. But to me, the WWE Hall of Fame is kind of becoming a joke anyway. When it seems to be you're putting in favors above who should go in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but yeah, we'll start out with that question. If either one of you were Triple H, and Triple H is what about 50.
He's a little bit older.
He's older than 50.
Okay,
I think he's closer to 55 than he is 50.
Okay,
he's closer to Pondwater's age than my age.
And if somebody came to you and said, "Hey, we're going to put you in the Hall of Fame," and would you? Maybe it's just me and humility. I'd be like, "There's way too many people that need to go in before me." Would you have stepped back and say, "No, let's put somebody else in," or would you not? Let me ask the lady first, Dave. What do you think on that topic?
No, I absolutely go in, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I felt a couple years ago, 3 years ago, I went in the Southern Wrestling Hall of Fame. And,
oh wow!
And I didn't think I deserved it when it was offered, and I talked to a few people, and they said if they think you're deserving of it, then you accept that praise and go in, because it's not on me to gatekeep who's in and out.
Right.
I mean, I can have my opinions, but whenever somebody wants to honor you with something, you should accept that praise, especially with much negativity that goes on.
But would your perception of it change if you were the COO or CEO of said company?
Oh, definitely. I will. If you're wondering if Triple H should have gone in, absolutely. Absolutely. But I think that there's no reason that they don't have a committee. They don't make an independent committee to do Hall of Fame nominations. I mean,
it's a lot of
people in the
politics,
Hall of Fame.
agreed?
Because they do favors. And I'm not saying that Michelle McCool didn't have a great career, but fairly or unfairly, they said, "Oh, she's married to the Undertaker."
You could absolutely see that's something, and I'm sorry, to me,
she's in before China.
To me, for her to go in, the Hall of Fame is supposed to be the elite of the elite, the ones that could not do what the people that were even in your program. Say, I played ball at Pitt, and if one of my guys was 10 times better at the position, he gets in, even though we were playing the same game. That's what the Hall of Fame recognizes. The same peer group, but somebody in that doing that same thing, somebody was doing it above head and shoulders. That's what it's for, the best of the best. And I'll go to my grave. She does not deserve, in my opinion, to be in the Hall of Fame based on her accomplishments at all. You could have gone to every WrestleMania and said, "Do you know who this woman is or who this girl is?" Half of the people would have been, "No, they don't know who we are." And I think, in my opinion, that she got in, because of some strings pulled. And that, to me, if I was already in the WWE Hall of Fame, I'd be like, that kind of pulls it down. This is supposed to be the top of the top, the guys that pushed our program up, the ones that pushed it over, the ones that did it better than anybody else, ran them like anybody else. That would have been my take on that. But Miss Amy, what is your opinion on that? If you were Triple H, would you have been like, "Hey, somebody else I think needs to be in this spot because we got a lot of people to get in before me"?
No, I don't know. Because like you said, I agree with Pondwater. I think Triple H definitely deserved a Hall of Fame nod. I think it's an interesting concept because we've always talked about how even the WWE itself was an audience of one, and so was the Hall of Fame. I think we all could sit here and list and maybe all kinds of Hall of Fames of people that we think should have gone in, but is not in for some reason. I guess I need to know what the criteria is for Hall of Fame. I do understand what you're saying, Kevin, but they're also like legend deals. Like, so whoever goes into the Hall of Fame, a lot of times they end up doing a lot of philanthropy or a lot of PR for you. I think Michelle McCool is a wonderful PR, a wonderful person to maybe do that. So if those are some of the guidelines that they're looking at when they choose people, then maybe she did deserve it. I know we all think of other people that probably could have gone in before Michelle McCool. I don't know, but it could be, again, not just what she brought to the wrestling ring, but what could she bring afterwards, being global. So,
Yeah.
Can I throw something in there?
Yeah, go ahead, bro. We're good.
Where WWE gets their delegitimizes their Hall of Fame is like my complaint is always China. Over every woman, my complaint is always China.
So
but it's so much politics and optics because you can't tell a China story without telling the Triple H story, and that's where Stephanie McMahon comes in. Because is she going to really want to hear that? Because she was like, so that China's not going to get in. China's not going to get in until Stephanie or Triple H is gone.
well,
And that's where it delegitimizes the Hall for me.
and you know what though, Ethan, that on the other flip, if you were China's family, would you want her to go in? You know what I'm saying? I think that's another side that sometimes we don't always know about is, we all know that Martha Hart does not want Owen Hart into the Hall of Fame. We know how she feels about WWE.
Right.
Unfortunately, China is past. So that responsibility ends up falling on the family. And I don't really know if Joni, China was my sister, and I saw what all she had dealt with, from her point of view. I don't really know if I'd want her to go into that Hall of Fame.
Right.
So, but I do understand what you're saying. They want to say some bull about China was in pornos, and I don't want anybody to look up China, and that's the first thing that pops up.
It's
like
not
if
the
you
first
get her,
thing because I just did that when Ethan mentioned it. Because my I've always had it in my mind that if a kid goes and researches this inductee and it's China, what's it going to be? And just on the splash page, there's no mention of it. You'd have to really you'd have to do a deep dive to find that part of her career. So I say it's way past time now for her to go in.
The thing with me is, if you start to go down that slippery slope that somebody did this, then steroids was rampant. People had criminal records. People had this. Yeah, but if you're going to say somebody can't be in because of whatever they did, this, that, and the other, it's based on your and people need to understand that it's based on your accomplishments. This, like, I don't understand so much in the last 5 years the hate that Hulk Hogan is getting. And he may have been a bad person. He may not have been a bad person behind the scenes. Nobody knows. But as Hulk Hogan, the character, he's an icon, a legend, one that built this sport and put it a lot on his back. And I think, to me, a lot of people are just upset that this guy was smart enough to take and put in his contract creative control. If you're smart enough to do that, then you can say whatever happens with you, whether somebody else gets mad or upset or this, that, and the other. But, if we're going to say, hey, you can't get based in because you did this after wrestling, or you did this, or you did that, it's a slippery slope. And I just think, China needs to be in. I think there's so many more people that need to be in. The Midnight Express need to be in. Ivan Koloff need to be in. The Russians need to be in. There's so many more people that need to be honored. And I just wish there was a way that they could do it to where it's not 4 at a time. And it just was, I guess maybe it rubbed me the wrong way. Even when they were introducing at WrestleMania, the Hall of Fame introductions, the only one that came out with their music was Triple H. And I was
they
like,
they normally do that for the headliner of the Hall of Fame.
They do?
Yeah. And And I think a positive sign is that Lex Luger went in this year.
Amen.
Because under Vince wouldn't let somebody in a wheelchair go out there. I mean, it's just, but to let now, so the tide has turned. I think we're going to start seeing every year a little more of the people that we think are going to go in. I think it's just a matter of time on China.
Yeah.
I even saw a clip earlier today where they actually mentioned her. They mentioned her on a Raw. But who was it? AJ Styles and the Luke Hart. I mean, what did he call this faction with Gallows and Anderson? Whatever they called them, they were out there and they were going to three against two on DX.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then the music hit. The New Age Outlaws came out and they brought Holland Nash with them. And he said he's naming everybody off. And he said, China's looking down. She's here with us in spirit. Oh crap! I forgot Billy. And now how many are we up to? I don't know math, but
yeah, she's in as part of DX.
Yeah. So they were mentioning her, and she already is. You're right. She's a one-time Hall of Famer that way. But so she's not taboo anymore in the WWE.
But I do think that the family, that's a big part of it. I mean, I understand. I have no idea. I have no idea if her family wants her or not, but I don't think if she was my sister, I would want her in. I mean, I wouldn't see, getting inducted, but the company is run by him and them. I don't know. I don't know if I would. And I have no idea if that could be a holdup. I'm just saying.
To me, she's in my top 3 women of all time. The barriers that she broke, the things that she did, the way that she wrestled, and doing the things that she did. It's just the same to see her on there. But I wanted to get your takes in there. I personally also didn't think that the tag team that was let in. I'm forgetting.
Earthquake.
National disasters.
Again, where is the accomplishment and longevity? You guys were just a tag team for a year, and you won it one time, and you put them in. Earthquake, we could make a thing, and maybe Tugboat by himself. You could maybe make some arguments for individual, but as a tag team, I just felt it was kind of. I don't know. I guess I'm just a sour old man. I think me and Dave were talking about that yesterday. I was like, man, I'm just a sour old man, 50 years old, and I'm just complaining about everything. Wrestling ain't what it used to be. Well,
I got a song that we play on I made for our show that says Dave's barking at clouds again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Demolition. Well, I think Demolition is going to get in because they re-signed that contract now that Vince is gone. Power and Glory. I mean, Demolition absolutely deserves to be in. I think a lot more will be again.
I wouldn't be surprised if Demolition doesn't headline next year.
Yeah, and O'Keefe and Ringside, welcome in. Appreciate the program. Again, I get that you've won those things, but it was such a short career. It's very hard to remember her memorable matches. I just think we need a criteria for letting somebody in. Based on what that criteria is, and the Hall of Fame should be beyond. When we go 50 years from now, somebody can be able to be like Iron Man, like Harley Race, and this, and Bruno Sammartino. You can the Von Erichs and these and these. We can go with that. If nobody put her on the Hall of Fame, if you add another 10, 15 years, I mean, people might not know her name. And more power to her that she's in. Congratulations to her. And everything like that. It's just, I think politics ruins everything from life to everything that we do.
Now, I will say that the package that they played for her that highlighted her career, I felt a lot better because there's a lot that she did that I forgot, and Ringsider Anthony brings up a lot of it.
Right.
But I mean, just, the work with LeCool, the first Divas champion.
Gotcha.
I thought, seeing all that she did, because I think if you're around long enough, you're going to get in. There's not a whole lot.
Well, if they want to pick a man, a woman, a tag team, and a legend, I don't like that formula as much either. I feel like it's forced in a sense of, like you said with the women. Okay, you have 50. overall to pick from, and you have 300-400 men. I mean, there's a good chance, like if we had one here, there's a good chance I'm getting in, because if you're picking a man, a woman, and a tag team, well,
Got that, Chris?
my bar doesn't have to be as high, because I'm your only option. So I'm a damn good option, but no, I'm just saying.
There you go.
Oh yeah!
Well, let's touch briefly on this.
Yes.
As a baseball guy, I absolutely believe, and hear me out, I absolutely believe the punishment that Pete got. As long as he got it, no. He bet on his team to win. Get over it after a while when you've got so many already in that Hall of Fame that did way too many more things than that. Now, my opinion on steroids, no, you took it and you cheated, you don't get in until the end of it. Steroids does not make you be able to hit the ball and see the ball and this, that, and the other, but it does skew all your stats from how far you hit it. I'm against steroids as a former player in a ball and broke my hip, whatever, and when you do that, and I think Dave, you played sports, Amy, me, you have, and whatever, somebody cheating, I can't stand it. I can't stand that. But it was so disrespectful. It hurt Pete Rose a whole lot. But it's funny. You didn't want him in the Hall of Fame, but you had no problem trotting him out there and all these millennial
time you needed him.
Yeah. If you're banned from mentioning, being at an event, being at a ballpark or anything that and the other. And it was just very, very hurtful from a guy that played the game like I strive to. Break my body, and I mean, I broke my hip playing baseball, and it broke my eye socket and my hands, and I played with I didn't care. That run mattered like my life did, and he played that way. And these sissies today don't have any idea what a Pete Rose guy is when they're putting on sliding mitts to go sliding into a bag. That they need their base being made twice as made so they don't hurt their foot. Rob Mandelford is killing Major League Baseball, and it's pathetic in its time. I know you guys, I think you guys touched on the Hall of Fame. If you want to take 5 seconds to say your thing about Pete Rose.
Yeah, but you should have done it. It's too late now. You should have done it when he was alive. Now
Yes.
he's dead, and you're just trying to make yourself look good. You're trying to get yourself over at the expense of a dead man. Too little, too late. And that's too little, too late. Pete's better off not being in their Hall of Fame. It was bogus without him, and it's going to remain bogus because their intentions aren't good. They don't care. They're not honoring Pete. They're trying to make themselves look good.
Yeah, it's just trying to save his legacy because he's under heat. He needs to be kicked out for some of the crap that he's allowing Major League Baseball to do, and this, that, and the other, and now trying to put in an automatic strike system and all these challenges. That's part of the game. Yeah. These kids today need to be taught, if it's close to the plate, what were you supposed to do when we were taught? When I was taught 8, 9 years old, if it's close and you got that count on you, you better choke up on that bat and put it somewhere instead of trying to put it over the top of the fence every single time. Baseball is our pastime. Leave it as our pastime. Physics, error, judgment of the umpires always in it. Now, do we need better umpires? My God, do we need some better umpires? Because some of these guys got some thin skin. But I wanted this comment right here. Absolutely, Andrew. Steroids does not help you. It actually hurts your eyesight, steroids. But steroids does not make you see the better, doesn't your swing, whatever. But it gives you that power.
Now,
that is it.
Andrew, I 100% believe that Andrew's comment about Pete being in the Hall of Fame was that he deserved to be in the WWE Hall of Fame.
but Bonds was a spectacular player and a hitter well before that. Now he wouldn't. He certainly I don't think would have passed the all-time home run mark without steroids. But he was great without it, and he would have gotten into Hall of Fame without it. And it's a shame. Clemens, sorry, you juiced up. Shouldn't have done it. You don't deserve to be in as at this point. Just my opinion on that. But let's talk about talking wrestling.
Let's do it.
And before we talk about that, Miss Amy, and this is not meant to be disrespectful, but so many, we don't see females getting on podcasts and hosting podcasts in a male-dominated sports, this, that, and the other, and it's great to see. Because I grew up, and we talked about just before coming on, when me and my dad would go to Dorton Arena or Norfolk Scope or the Coliseum in North Carolina, and $12 front row, and you saw the Four Horsemen, and there was old ladies with those pin open, you twist there and you pull the pocket that had penny rolls, and they were taping those penny rolls and they were throwing them out. And we used to have that. So it's great. And I want your experience on when we get into the show, talking about the show. But how did your love for wrestling begin, and what was your earliest memories on it?
So I am from Kentucky and the western part, and we would get Memphis wrestling on Saturdays. And I can remember, I don't know, 5, 6, somewhere in there, watching that on Saturday.
Right.
And then we also had the WWF. And in a weird way, Miss Elizabeth was from Kentucky. Now, granted, at that time, I did not know that Randy Savage had such a connection to Lexington in that area. But I just was really drawn to Miss Elizabeth, and that she was from Kentucky, and so was I. And then, I mean, Memphis wrestling is something in itself, and just the way the studio was set up and watching people coming in and out, like it was just fantastic. I'd never seen anything like that. And I don't know if it's, my dad liked basketball, but I mean, it wasn't like we had other sports going on all the time in the house. So, and of course, your dad, I have a sister who's 22 months younger, and I kind of, even now, she came to Dave's house with me to go watch a show in Vicksburg. So I still kind of drag her along the stuff. But, my dad would wrestle with us and that kind of stuff. And it just really stayed with me, really, I'll be 49 this year. So it has stayed with me for a good 45 years.
Okay.
Wrestling love.
All right. And who was the guy? Oh, yeah, Arn Anderson, not in the Hall of Fame. Who was it that you gravitated to besides that? So you got into wrestling with that. Who was it as you started to get older, a wrestler, you were like, yeah, and that passion and that heartbeat came? And like for me, the Rock and Roll Express when I was growing up, and it was them. And when the Midnight Express got in the ring, I wanted to slap Bobby Eaton with that tennis racket and all that. Who was that gave you that first love as a wrestler and growing up?
Randy Savage, definitely. I got him. He's
Darren, you're okay. Get on that soapbox. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say my Randy Savage up here. My little
Randy Savage. Oh yeah.
Yes, 100%. He had it. He had it all. And I was a big Hulk Hogan fan too. I mean, I don't know many kids in that era that wasn't. I can still sit here and shut my eyes, and I can see Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3.
Oh, put it over the map. Put wrestling on the map. That then.
Just that was just phenomenal.
Oh my!
But
look at him trying to upstage you. Look at that, trying to take away from the first. Look at that. I'm using that code and I'm stealing all that crap. I want that robe. I want that robe. Give me that robe.
I've got to try. I got to put the robe on one time. It's pretty nice.
I can imagine. So you got that love, and I've said for so long that Macho Man, even though he gets great, he still kind of doesn't get as much credit as he does. His promos, the way he wrestled, I link his style of wrestling with the Steamboats and the Ric Flairs and the Arn Andersons. It was, you went all out and you sold it, and you sold it with the fans. A lot of wrestlers today, when they're in that ring, they really ignore the fan. They really ignore the interaction on the majors. Now, maybe in the indies, it's very different, but they kind of don't play to the crowd as much as I see anymore. Besides their stupid, which I'm over that. But Dave, as you got into wrestling, and I think we've heard from other shows and things that you grew up with the Von Erichs, and it was Dallas and the Sportatorium and stuff. Who was it that you as a kid, you flipped on that TV and you were like, I'm hooked?
I didn't realize it at first, but it was Ric Flair. I got away from wrestling. My mom had me into it when I was about 5 years old. My first favorite wrestler was Ivan Putski.
Oh,
Ivan
okay.
Putski was the long hair, had the wild hair. He was doing acts of strength, ripping phone books, getting cinder blocks crushed on his chest with sledgehammers. He was doing all bending stuff and showing how strong he was. And he was so childlike that he would bring toys to the ring. And the Blackjacks would come out and break his toys, and he'd go absolutely berserk on them.
Right.
So I loved Ivan Putski. I kind of aged out when Saturday Night Live started because I liked comedy, and I started watching Saturday Night Live as a kid. But at 16 years old, my little brother was watching it, and I got home on Saturday night, and I was eating and kind of teasing him about it. Oh, you know that crap's fake, right? And my mom said, leave him alone. And Ric Flair was out. And he was in town the very next night to defend the title against Kerry Von Erich, 2 out of 3 falls at Reunion Arena. They were doing warm-up matches on Saturday Night Wrestling, and they drew names to see who they were going to warm up with. Well, Kerry drew Kevin. So they're in the ring, rolling around. Kevin put his hands up. Kerry drop kick his hands. They were just, and he's like, no, Von Erich, hit your brother in the mouth so he'll know what it's like to be. And Flair's got the long blonde hair, and I'm like a prissy sissy in the 80s. Like, who's this guy? And I was very disparaging. And he was under my skin with his, and he was wearing, I think he's wearing a fur coat. And then he drew Brian Adias, who my brother explained to me was Kerry's best friend. And he used Brian Adias up in this training match. I mean, just taking liberties and enraging Kerry. So I tell my little brother, you clean my room, I'll take you to that tomorrow night, because I know I can't get out of the house on Sunday if my room's not clean. Spoiler alert, I had no intentions of taking him to the rest of the matches. So he cleans my room spotless. I mean, like Molly Maid came in and did it. And my mom said, you're taking him. So we go down there and we get tickets, and we're on the very top row of Reunion Arena. And by the end of the night, I had yelled my throat out.
Amen.
My throat was bleeding. I had yelled so much. I was such a fan. I didn't know who King Kong Bundy or Harley Race was. That's who wrestled her on the undercard.
Right.
David and Kevin versus Kabuki and the Dragon. But by the time Kerry Von Erich and Ric Flair were through, I was so enraged at Ric Flair, and Kerry got screwed. And then I'm back at Christmas for the rematch, and they slammed the cage door on his head, and I'm enraged. Then the next time I go, it's Ric Flair's in town against Terry Gordy at the Sportatorium. I go. The next time I go, Ric Flair's in town against Kevin Von Erich at Fair Park Coliseum. I'm there. The common denominator for probably the first year of me going to matches, I'm showing up when Ric Flair's there. And when I went in the summer to see Kevin's rematch with Ric Flair, we got to the arena, and on the billboard it said Harley Race versus Kevin Von Erich, because Harley had won, and you didn't know.
Yeah.
You found out when you got to the arena.
Well, no Twitter.
Yeah. So, and I was disappointed that Rick wasn't there. Now, by the end of the night, I enjoyed Harley and Kevin, and David beat the living crap out of Race. But what I'm saying is 1983 is my favorite year of wrestling, bar none.
Oh, okay.
But it took me a while to realize that Ric Flair was the straw that stirred the drink.
Yeah.
David Von Erich was my absolute all-time favorite.
People don't know that our generation of wrestling, how hard they worked. I mean, they did a show at noontime, and then at 8 p.m. they did another one, and they were 60-minute matches. They were workhorses, and it's appreciative, and everything that they did was built on the back of them. Amy, as you started to grow into things, and you have a fabulous collection behind you, how did the love of wrestling keep growing, and it start with, okay, I got to have this, I got to have that, and is your husband allowed to play without any of it?
No one is allowed. And my children, I've already told them, if I die and I find out that they have opened any of these figures, I'm not going to be happy. I've already decided I'm going to have to give those away, because like you were talking about earlier, I understand, as a female in the wrestling genre of a fandom, I am a unicorn. I married a man who does not like wrestling. So none of my children like wrestling.
Dang, y'all get. Oh, there's a penny. Ah, dang, Amy, what you doing on my? We're throwing pennies out here. Even if
I'm
they can't
telling
get,
you.
even if your husband said, let's open it. Let's
pretty please.
come on, just let's play with it. Come on, man.
No,
He wouldn't nothing.
You know,
no.
Matt Cardona says you're supposed to get those action figures, let them out and let them breathe. They were
Gotta let 'em breathe.
created. They were created to be played with.
No, I like looking at them. I like looking at them.
Hey,
I'm also a big fan of FTR. So I've got my Tully. I got my Tully and Arn. They're my 1A, 1B. And then I have my FTR, Randy Savage. And then I have my females. I have Sherry Martel. I have China. I have Rhea Ripley. I have Miss Elizabeth. I really am not like, I'm one of the fans, like, I only get things of people that I really like. And
There
it's
you
a
go.
it's a very small, and maybe that's because, like I said, financially that helps me. But
Yeah, yeah.
so I have a smaller collection compared to, Dave, he's a huge fan, as you could tell, and his collection rivals any that I've ever seen. It continues to go on.
Yeah, that's why FedEx hates him. They're tired of pulling up to his dang door. I saw them ruts where they park all the time. I was like, no wonder they throw crap at your house. Dang wrestling figure crap. What you
Yeah,
that
they won't never be here again. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but my collection is the same. I may have 50 figures, but it's the Horsemen's, the WWF guys that I grew up with, the NWA guys, and those type of things, and Cornettes, and
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
that's what my limited connection is. So of the figures that you got, the house is burning down. Oh my goodness! And this not to be traumatic. It's just an analogy, people. House is burning down, and we know you're going to grab the cats and the dog, and probably one of Pondwater Dave's purse that he left over there and run out with it. But you got one figure to pull out and run out of the house with. Your husband says, "Go get that figure, honey." What you running out with?
You can't really see it. It's up top. It's an autograph of all the Four Horsemen action figures.
Oh, in the box.
Yes, it's Ric Flair, Barry Windham, Tully, and Arn.
I have those figures. I opened it, and I put them, and I got the shirts that has the V and the 4 on it with the horse running on them.
Oh yeah.
And I put them all on it, and that's what up there. And then the other thing with the 4 horsemen that I love that you can't see behind is I got. Well, I'm gonna show it anyway. You know what? The first lady of Arn Anderson fan club deserves a seat. Sorry, I'm in my underwear. It's thong underwear. You'll have to use it. Oh, my thong underwear. Sorry if everybody saw it. It's just, it's one of them things you get used to. But I had.
I don't think Ethan says no. You don't get used to it. But I'm just letting you know.
Well, he uses a duvet on his toilet, so I don't even talk about him with that mess.
You got to be classy. If you're gonna you got to be classy. Use a bidet.
I got one of my favorite magazines of all time. I used to pick out magazines based on the belt pictures.
Yes,
so I got the picture blown up, and then I had the 4 horsemen sign it, all of them, with the best. I think the best version was with Barry Windham. Because again, a guy that doesn't get enough great recognition for how great of a wrestler he is, but people don't understand how hard it is to get all these guys' signatures at one time and on these things, and now what it's costing to get these signatures. And I'm telling you, I said, people, if you can get it, you can get it.
Can you see the back of that magazine and what you have it in?
It's not the magazine. I had the magazine blown up. The picture in front of it. So, and then I got it. I made sure I wanted to get it certified. So I sent it off to get it certified so that somebody couldn't come in my room and insult me and say, that ain't real. No, so I wanted that. But yeah, I blew it up as a picture.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And had them sign it so you could see it. Because when you sign them on the magazines, it's a little small. And when I laid it down on the thing, Tully goes, do you remember magazines being this damn big? I was like, no, it's not. It's not a guy I love to tear. I mean, I hated them growing up, but when I met him, I told them all. I said, I hated you guys, and they were like, "That was great because that's what we want to hear.
Yes.
We did our job." Too many people come up here. You're my favorite. You're my favorite. I said, they're lying through their teeth. they're lying to their teeth. But before we get on the Dave stuff, how did this stuff come to be? With the first lady of the Arn Anderson fan club, we got to officially double drop kick here today. We acknowledge the first lady of Arn Anderson fan club. So there we go. You are acknowledged here on double drop kick. How did that start and where did that come out? Yes, certified.
So it's kind of funny. So you saw Andrew H., who was making comments in the in the comments, he said that about Pete Rose need to go into the Hall of Fame. He is the research guy for Arn Anderson podcast. And we're really good friends. And he actually was the one who dubbed me that. And Arn has agreed. So it's like he loves me and I love him. He has agreed that I am the first lady of the Arn Anderson fan club. So Andrew,
every time.
That 9-year-old just came out. Granddaddy, how big is your checking account when you go? Can I have some? You can see that coming out right there, pulling them little hairstrings. So that's how it all came about. And I see your horseman hat, which I absolutely love.
Yes.
I think. Well, you would love. I don't know if you could see it. Can you see it over the top? Do you remember the bandanas they used to sell at Jim Crockett Promotions at the events? They were the bandanas. That logo is that bandana. It's behind there on that belt from, I got it in 1987 and the Rock and Roll Express is right there. But that bandana is that same logo. They used to sell bandanas at the events.
Awesome.
Rock and Roll Express one, the Four Horsemen, but it's that same logo. So I got to get me one of those hats like that.
Yes.
So I'm going to officially announce me here today.
Mm-hmm.
The lowest Arn Anderson fan club member, but I still deserve a hat.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yes, I think it's do you know, Dave, is it One True Sport where they sell it? They sell the horseman hats?
Yeah, they got all kinds of Arn, I think Arn, Tully.
Oh.
They got all kinds of merchandise at One True Sports.
One True Sport. I thought that's where it was. So you want to get you a hat, you definitely need to go there.
Paul Bromwell does a great job over there.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. One of your buddies, we were talking about the museum that you have. Dave has in the background. Your buddy says you are a museum.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm about half preserved already.
Well, he said earlier, I don't know if you saw it in the comments, he said, well, you've been a little kid since 1934. So I guess it's one of those things. So Dave, how did it start with you with getting into collecting, and you grew up loving wrestling? What was it? Did you start with figures, magazines, the things? How did it grow into your collecting?
Well, we didn't have a lot of merch when I was a kid going to the sportatorium. Best you could do is promo pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I actually owned a David Von Erich t-shirt that I never saw for sale at World Class. And come to find out, when they were in San Antonio, that promoter was selling WCW, World Class Wrestling. That's what the logo he'd put on there. But he'd had a David Von Erich shirt with David down one sleeve and Von Erich down the other, one of those 3/4 baseball shirts.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't even know that stuff was available.
Right.
And I got mine. I bought some stuff from Jimmy Garvin, and that was one of the items he sent me. I got that. I got a cigarette lighter that Fritz Von Erich gave him. I got David Von Erich's black and yellow and black trunks, the yellow with the black stripe. And then like a picture a fan gave them, like on wood, like you used to do, and you put a picture on there and shellac it, and it's David and Bruiser Brody. So I got, because Jimmy Garvin would collect things from people that he feuded with. But so all I got back in the day were promo pics, and my first wrestling t-shirt was a Bad Street USA t-shirt.
Oh, okay.
But I always loved the belts, and my mom wouldn't let me buy the Cattle Baron belt that was in the magazines. We did get the Mr. X mask that they sold, though. Dr. X, Mr. X, I can't remember. It's just a white mask. But as I grew older, I always liked the belts. And the one that got my attention, that's why I asked you about the cover of the magazine. They used to advertise the wrestling album, not like the WWE where they all sang. Pro wrestlers, the wrestler. There you go. That's it.
There's the Cattle Baron belt.
We're not worthy.
Oh,
That's the Cattle Baron belt.
We're not worthy.
And you can see the old where it says the Cattle Baron Leather Company stamped in the thing. And a lot of people don't know what that thing was for. But we asked, and it's for your name. You write your nameplate on it. That's their nameplate. And that's what you're supposed to write your name on it. And you know, when I had as a kid, to my brother, I'm gonna write your name. I said, you write anything on it, you can be buried in that backyard. But yeah,
Send it to Mark Maggard and have him stamp your name into it in the leather.
Mark Maggard would steal it.
Well,
I don't trust that guy, man. You got to watch out for that dude. No, but this was the first.
Guys are.
Yeah. There's scammers out there.
Eventually, they all go bad.
I heard he had stinky leather too from somebody. No, Mark's a great guy. He's one of the best lacers of leather. Yeah, he's absolutely fantastic. Good friend. This was the first that you could get, and I still have several of the magazines in here, and I'm gonna actually get this to be put into displayed with the actual. Remember the ad that was in the wrestling magazines, the paper that it was on. So I have one in there, and I'm gonna put it in the frame with them. But go ahead. What you were just saying, I just wanted to show that to you to make you a little jealous that I have something that's something that's not in the museum, the Hall of Fame Museum at pondwaterdave.com, sponsored by FedEx.
Now I got to get one. But I looked at the magazine, and they had all these wrestlers that they would have posters of pinups in this wrestling album. Ricky Steamboat standing there with the Mid-Atlantic Championship belt, the white one. And that white plate belt stood out so much to me. And that's when I got the belt bug really bad. And I used to get the magazines and I wanted to see belts. And when the champion would come on world class and they didn't bring because the Von Erichs were notorious about not wearing their belts. They just didn't.
Really?
Yeah. And David would occasionally. But in Fort Worth, he had that gold cast Texas belt. In Dallas, he just used one of the world-class good. They used it for everything. The tags, the American title, the Texas title, they use the same belt in Dallas for some reason. I never understood why the Texas belt in Fort Worth was different than the Texas belt in Dallas, but I noticed that because I was a belt fan. So fast forward all these years, Figs Inc. advertises that they have the NWA world title. And I ordered it, and man, you couldn't tell me nothing. I had it over my shoulder. I'm strutting.
He put his tidy whities on there and ropes around his bed, and he was.
I put my 3-piece suit on, and I'm cutting Flair promos, and I mean this was WrestleMania 17. So what is that? 2000 and you're around 2000.
When the Figs came up, 2001, 2002.
So this would have been 2000 because the NWA one was first.
All right. Well, we actually have you cutting your first promo with your belt here. Here it is.
Last but not least, I don't want to say I told you so. I don't want to blow our own horn, but toot, toot.
You look good there. You look good there for a young man. But I mean, you were tooting it there once you got that belt.
Yeah, buddy.
Then
I got when the WWE decided to get in the game, I got the Oval IC, and I got the Big Eagle, and that was the week that I got them. We were leaving to go to WrestleMania 17 at the Astrodome. Me and my brother were walking around with those belts, and nobody had them. WWE actually had them at Access coming soon, and I had mine. So, and I was happy with it. The Figs Inc. belt made me happy that I finally got a wrestling belt. Then I paid $10 to get my picture taken with the ring used belt. Ring used Big Eagle.
You woke up then, didn't you?
Then they handed it to me, and I'm like, oh, how does The Rock? This is heavy. How does he stand up with one arm and just and I realized that with my toy belts and their real belt, one of these things is not like the other. Then through the wrestling boards, there was a old collector Stephen Voyer, his name was Belt Stud.
Is he related to you? Yeah, he does have that thumpable eraser type. Well, yeah, you down on the mat and you do a mess, some moved wrong to me, boy. I'm doing one of them, them brotherly or family flips, the dad flips that get you on the head that you'd hear clear across the house when somebody was doing something wrong. Yeah, I'd get one.
Yeah.
You're right. I'd get one of them pencil erasers, but great attention to detail, Darren. We see you're doing the research right there in that picture. Keep up the attention to detail.
And Darren, which one is it? Because you did not pluralize nipples, so I'm assuming you only think one of them is great.
Yeah,
right or left.
Well, like I said, growing up, he might got the twist more from his family than the other. You kind of, that's why one of my eyes is lower than the other. I kept getting slapped by Dad till I wasn't going to mow the lawn, and I quickly realized I better go mow that dang lawn. And Nat says the 1999 The Figures Inc. Big Gold debuted. Is what he said. There's Colin from C4 all the way down on Australia. Hello, team. Good for you, Dave and Amy, legends. You are a legend, my friend, for taking the hobby to a new level with the creation of the C4 Ortiz Crumrine Big Gold. The name expanded now. It's not C4 with their partnership, and there's some great things coming with them.
I'm so impressed with what those boys are doing with the Big Gold, and I've held the real one alive.
I mean, I know you didn't probably watch it because you're Super Dave, and we're not worthy of the stature of you being on the program and watching. But if you'll go back to the show when I opened that belt, it's just instantaneous, even on camera, the way it was picking up because of how it's plated and the sterling silver on top.
I saw you unbox it,
and I have. This is going to sound bad. I have many Reggies, and I was spoiled by Reggie's getting him in the early 2000s. Then I tried Figs to save some money, and when it came, I threw it right in the dumpster because I was so mad at it because it was stiff as a cardboard, and it looked like it was done on a printing press from the 1940s. But when I opened that belt, and people ask me today if I'm running out of my house with whatever, and there's my original 2001 Reggie Parks Winged Eagle WWF, I'm grabbing the C4. It is that amazing, and I can't believe what they've accomplished, and it should be saluted. And Pondwater, to get one, all he's got to do is sign one of them. All that $1 million merchandise, all he's got to do is probably send one of those out, or maybe, hey, your buddy Darren, if you got a good Iron Anderson picture showing them nipples sticking out, he might buy that from you, and then you got the C4 paid for right there.
There you go.
That made maybe the way to go. But yeah, they did a spectacular job, and Conrad was so gracious to the space he provided him, the help with the platform, the video that they did, and I'll never forget when Conrad opened up the first time and his first words out of his mouth was, "Geez, you nailed that." And
yeah,
then
he's very impressed with it.
And then he found out the Ortiz family was involved with it, and now they got the partnership with Crumrine. It took that guy so long.
He doesn't refer to the C4 like his opinion of all the Big Gold replicas. He calls them, they're all cute little tribute belts. Well, I'm sure that all your listeners know that Conrad Thompson owns the original Big Gold.
Yeah.
And
if they don't, please click off this channel. We don't want you to. We don't like. No, I'm just kidding.
So he always says that all the Big Golds are just cute little tribute belts. But he told us in our group chat that that C4 nailed it. It's the best replica he's ever seen.
And it put so many years into that, and we'll soon be having another announcement with him on in 2 weeks. Another big announcement with him, and I'm glad that they're coming back on. And he's been on the show, and he's been a good friend for many years. And he is. I can't say enough about Colin. He's a humble, kind guy. And if you want a belt, and I know it's pricey and it's expensive, but you got to look at what's on it, who's making it, how they're making it, the time it took into making it, and but you can make payments. And I tell everybody, to get that. And it's a spectacular belt. I've never seen anything pop the way that belt pops, how it was made, and the true carving. And I never really understood silver smithing. You had belt buckles or whatever, and
I used to wear crown belt buckles.
Yeah, I have one here because I
Urban
wanted it to
Cowboy
match.
changed my life. I was jeans and boots. I've been
Yeah.
I dress Western when we go anywhere. I mean, it's just that's how I
Oh
dress.
my!
And it's been that way since Urban Cowboy came out.
I bet all the ladies are. Hey,
Wrangler
man.
butts drive women nuts. Can I get an amen, Amy?
Oh, you got one from the crowd there. You got one from the crowd. Yeah. Yeah. Crumride is a great ambassador. I mean, Crumride. Conrad is a great ambassador to the belt hobby and the belt community, and what he does with letting people touch them, feel them, smell them. Some people I've heard lick them, and yeah, I would just stop because that people do understand that belt was on top of Space Mountain a few thousand times. So easy when you stick your nose up there to it. And I'm pretty sure it's been on Conrad's Space Mountain too. Because if I would have bought that too, I'd come in the room with the wife and be like, "Honey, we're Ultimate Warrior tonight," But
I won't give no details, but I carried a robe in the big gold upstairs once.
do you have a video of it?
No.
There's your candle, Pondwater.
Oh, what's the candle about?
Oh, again, I like candles for my friends.
Catholic.
Yeah, I have to take care of the souls of some of my friends, so I like candles when they do things. Andrew, again, our wonderful friend who named me the first lady.
I think you spent a few thousand a day, Dave. What's that telling us?
We're just over 2 years in on our podcast, and she's already gave me 3 candles.
Oh no!
That's right.
Oh my!
I keep them burning.
Yeah. So, how did Dave meet Amy? Were you doing some work at the local jail and you had to preach to Dave behind the bars to stop giving out little suckers to girls on the playgrounds? And is that how this all came out? But how did you two meet? Seriously, how did it come about that you two met before even starting the podcast? How did you two know, and how does that far go back? We'll let the lady speak. Amy, how did that happen?
We were both part of, so as you've mentioned, Conrad Thompson, he has ad-free shows, and they're different tiers that you can be part of. And I am a top gal with his ad-free shows, and we do a lot of Zooms and we do a lot of things at the top tier that you don't get to do maybe at some of the lower ones. Dave has definitely, he's been part of those groups, and I really do feel like that is how our first introduction came, was just part of the ad-free shows community. And then once a year we all get together at what is called a Top Guy Weekend, and I think that's the first time I've actually met you in person, and that's actually where a lot of us ended up meeting for the first time in person, was at a Top Guy Weekend. And I don't really know, we just hit it off, and
felt sorry for him. He
needed help with
he needed help with the show. He needed a sensible thing because Dave would. I'm pretty sure Dave would be talking about this picture here, and then all of a sudden he's talking about changing his lawnmower blades, and 30 seconds later out in the yard. So you had to keep the ship steered straight. Is that what it is?
Sometimes I am a little bit younger than Dave, not by much, but I'm a little bit younger, and his shirt says it all. He is elderly. He is elderly. And
I wear my rocking chair proudly. Okay, I like that. That's pretty cool. So then, Dave, how did this come up to where you're starting this podcast that you guys have? That is an absolute fabulous podcast. For people who don't know, it's on Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern. And they talk all variety of wrestling. They have interviews. The trivia is spectacular. I broken so many daggone glasses because I can't get the answers right because I'm stupid.
He does
But,
that on
but
purpose.
it's great, and people need to tune out. So, Dave, how did this start for you guys to start this podcast?
Well, she mentioned Conrad. Conrad, that the concept of ad-free shows was that he wanted everybody to have what we had in our group chat. Our group chat's over 10 years now. And I just want to say first, everything that I've ever achieved in pro wrestling is because of the wrestling belt hobby.
Yeah.
The connections and friendships that I have made
It's
through the
amazing.
belt hobby.
It's amazing.
That's how I got to become friends with Conrad. Jeff Jewett's in there. Mark Nilsson, God rest his soul, was in there. Dave Hancock, Jay-Z, the Bojangles champion.
Oh, love him.
Dan McMahon used to be in there with us. I mean, a lot of people, but we were all belt. It was all belt related.
You're talking about the early Yahoo days and the groups where you sat in that with that group and that.
Oh
like
yeah,
I
I
said,
went from Yahoo to
and you waited for that door to open, and you come and you tell about your new belt day. You heard that, and you're like, "Oh God, hey guys, look, I got it. Oh wait a minute, I got a new belt day." I mean, I remember those good days. Those were good days.
So you fast forward to when ad-free shows came out. We decided, why don't we just put our group chat on a podcast? We'll call ourselves the Think Tank, because we were essentially his think tank when he was starting to do stuff. He'd bounce ideas off of us. Like,
that's how you afford all the stuff.
I named
You gave him all the IDs. You gave him all the IDs. That's how you afford all that museum.
Well, no, we didn't get. No,
we got you.
What I'm saying is, I named the JR's podcast Grillin' JR, which wasn't hard to come up with. Mark Nilsson named Starcast for him. It's just that there's things that it's a think tank. So we did a few episodes as the think tank.
Things are needed, yeah.
And then we pivoted and we rebranded to the Sad News Bears.
Yep, that's the one that I remember that I watched.
Had such a good time doing that show because it was just we were doing on camera what we were doing in the group chat, and that gave me the podcasting bug. When it went away, I really missed it. So then I got with I had been doing some guest shots with RJ Krasinski on his show, and then I was permanent. I was a permanent co-host there for a while with me, him, and Justin Davis. Well, RJ had the opportunity to pivot into with the his program with Hebner and
Corderas.
Jimmy Corderas. He couldn't do our show anymore. So I asked Justin, if I do something, you want to come with me? But I wanted to get a woman on there. Because you're right. And one of the biggest complaints that we always hear when when Conrad's trying to get ideas for podcasts, everybody wants more women involved. And I had met Amy, and I really liked Amy. We clicked. I felt like Amy was a lot like me in our wrestling tastes. But the one thing I always noticed whenever we did Zooms and stuff is Amy asks very good questions.
Yeah.
So we all three started it, and Justin's not with us anymore. He stepped out, and he's always welcome to come on. But now with me and Amy, I think it's a different dynamic because we click so well. We're comfortable with each other. I mess with her. I'm relentless, and she's on me pretty good too. Sometimes we just get really heated at each other, and that's gold when that happens.
Oh, it's great. You lose a lot of those battles, just letting you know.
Even when I win, do I really win?
No, because she don't come up on the next. Let's go, Dave. Turn it on. Hurry up. I remember last week. Turn it up. Yeah. I remember. I told my granddaddy about you and what you did. I remember that. I told him.
I'm just trying to think of when did he win? So I don't know. I have to think about that.
Your T-shirt. Your T-shirt is evidence that I won.
No, that's not.
No, listen there. She said something, and she showed a wrestler, and I don't remember who she said it was.
You know, but
"Hey, Amy, I'm pretty sure that's the Great Muda. That's not the Great Muda." I said, "Amy, hang on." And I looked at my Great Muda poster that happened to be the same picture she used. And I'm like, "Amy, I'm 100% positive that's Great Muda." "No, you don't have to doubt me. I'm telling you, that's not the Great Muda." And I'm like, "Amy, if that's not the Great Muda, I'll kiss your ass in the middle of the street and give you 20 minutes to draw a crowd." So then she said, "Pucker up, asshole." And
Oh, pretty please.
and then when she found out she was wrong, to this day, I have never gotten an apology.
My
But we have
goodness.
a T-shirt, so there you go.
There you go. I wanted to talk about your show a little bit and how
profanity.
and how people get on. We're going to switch up to our thing real quick here so that we can show the media here and some of our pictures here. Let's switch on over to this so we can show this YouTube page and where people can find you at. And bring you guys all onto the stage here. And the thing that's really interesting is your the mark out moments where you have your show at and where people need to go and see this program because it's very cool. There's a variety of things on there from I think your buddy that's infatuated with nipples probably likes the little video short where you're getting your chest slapped off through the back of your teeth. I think that's what he probably likes that a lot.
Oh yeah, he does.
But this is
confirmed.
Yeah, this is here. You guys' YouTube page that people need to go and check out and tell us about mark out moments and all about it.
Well, we used to just have it branded for our show, and then we decided to rebrand because we're in a kind of a partnership with the boys over at the Drunken Pop podcast. It was formerly Filter Free Popcast.
Okay.
They don't do wrestling anymore, but they do pop culture. They'll pick a month in a year. They'll do a deep dive into sports, music, movies, television. It's a fun deep dive. And then me and Amy, we have the wrestling covered. And then we collaborate with them. We collaborate with them occasionally, and we'll do post shows, pre-shows, review shows. The things that we do on Patreon, we're starting to put on our channel, like World Class Flashback, where me and Timmy C watched 1983 World Class. They have Hard Times and Beyond. They have I Was There. They just a lot of different projects with those boys. But the idea is that we're trying to grow this YouTube thing and make it profitable. And we're having a little success. It took us 2.5 years to get to 1,000 subscribers. It's taken us 2.5 weeks to get to 2,600.
That's awesome.
We're enjoying great growth right now. And mark out moments kind of says it all, because in wrestling, you have mark out moments. I was marked out when Kerry Von Erich won the world title. I was there. I marked out when the most recent one I can remember where I really lost it on what happened was I was in New Orleans, Charlotte Flair and Asuka. I didn't expect Charlotte to win, and when Asuka tapped, I lost my mind.
All right.
So you'll mark out to wrestling, but everybody's got a movie where they marked out. Everybody's got a concert or music that you've marked out for, or a television program. So I think anything pop culture related, anything wrestling related, I think Mark Out Moments is the perfect destination. And you can find it by going to markoutmoments.net. That will take you to our YouTube channel.
Yep. Take you right to the
.com. .com takes you to some guy putting a roof on.
Okay. Well, that was probably your FedEx driver.
Yeah.
The other thing that we wanted to share with folks is where they can get your merchandise for the show. That is also very cool. I wanted to show everybody where they can go and get your merchandise. If they like your show, and I understand that the FedEx guy is not one of your favorite guys, so he will not be getting one of your T-shirts. But I'd be standing there waiting for him.
The FedEx guy's lower than whale crap, and that's at the bottom of the ocean.
But this is you can tell everybody this page right here. jumpinthepond.com, where you can go and get all the merch. Support. We say it all the time. Support these podcasts. Wear these shirts. Let everybody know. Build a community. It gets people talking. You can stand there in the grocery line and have a great conversation with somebody, and then realize that they're a belt collector you got, and you can meet. I always do it and try to wear something so I can get close to Granny's purse and steal what's ever in her purse. That's how I wear my wrestling shirts out. But these are fabulous shirts and fabulous merchandise, and your pricing is spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling shirts don't have to be $25 or $30.
No, they don't.
And I love too they're not all black. That's one of the things that we really we've talked about before. Well, it's nice that there's the ability to have different colors. That's it. Yes. Like I said, I got purple on. So
yes, I don't see. Where is the first lady of the Arn Anderson fan club in there?
We haven't done that because I don't know that Arn would be cool with her actually profiting off of his name.
Well, yeah. Maybe your viewers would know AAFC then.
I mean, we could probably do something like that, or just the first lady.
I mean, and then if you ask him, it's alien ant farms in the country that she likes. That's
there you go. That was quick too, Kevin. I mean, I like how Kevin thinks.
That's what I would say to him, whatever, and then just quickly give him a drink of your Pondwater, and then he'll leave you alone. But I want to make sure that everybody, if they want your merch, go over to that and check them out there. You guys also have a guest coming up this week on your show, and I just misclicked them. That's very cool that I wanted to show everybody and tell everybody about this guest that you're coming up with this Tuesday night.
This is author Amy Flanagan. Lizzie Flanagan. I'm sorry, Amy. That's okay. Lizzie Flanagan. She's wrote a book about Gino Hernandez called "I Am Your Champion." If anybody ever saw Gino promos, that's what he'd do. I am your champion, and it was so great. The life and death of wrestler Gino Hernandez, and it's going to come out early next year. It's on pre-order now. Funny thing is that we talked this week, and we were going to push her. She wanted to push her episode back closer to the release date because she didn't know it was going to be so long before the book came out. And I told her, I said, yeah, but you can come back then too. I think it'd really be cool just to talk wrestling with you for an hour, because Gino's not her only love. I mean, she talks about Bruno. She talks about Bob Backlund. She loved the Gino. She loved the Von Erichs. Her wrestling, I mean, she fancies herself a wrestling historian, and she really is. And I was just really disappointed that I wasn't going to be able to talk to her about wrestling this week. And I told her there's no limit on coming back on our show. I'll promote the crap out of your book next year too.
There you go.
Just come on and talk wrestling with us, because I follow her on X, and the fact that she's talking about Bob Backlund, the fact that she's talking about Bruno, everything's old school to her. It's not always pushing the new stuff. and goodness gracious. I always have hot Cheetos.
I told you our chat was wild, and the back and forth and the fight between Keith and his buddy and Stone Cold. Our chat, and they've been very nice to y'all tonight. They've not asked any toilet paper questions, but the DDK belt bar is open, and but I don't know how many sales that we've done over there for those guys. I mean, the belt bar is open, and they need to get them drinks up there and get them before they get on. But go ahead with what you were saying. I didn't mean to.
Also, toilet paper needs to be put on the back like a mullet.
On the back. What? So you mean it comes over the top, right?
Over the top.
Yeah. Like because if you do it underneath and you're doing your business and reading something and you go to snatch it, that whole rolls like a cat, just goes everywhere, and you're like, oh man. Ethan, Ethan.
Stone Cold Steve,
what you got?
I sold Stone Cold Steve a belt.
Yes, he did. He sent me that belt. It looks like it weighs 35 pounds.
It's heavy. It was heavy.
Yeah.
What belt was it?
It was a silver. I guess you call it a big silver because it was a silver big gold
Oh,
with
okay.
with blue stones.
Ooh.
This belt right here.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That was the belt that he had sold them. And he remembered that and wanted you to know that he remembered that, and so it was cool to him. Ethan, what you got for them? We got about less than 10 minutes left with them because we don't want to keep them too long.
I'm gonna ask Dave the same question we asked Amy. There's a fire twister coming. What's the one thing you're grabbing?
David Von Erich trunks.
Don't let
you those. You can just throw those on. You can just wear those.
No, I
You can
got
just
them.
wear those running.
No, I got them. I've got them in a big frame. It's
Okay.
It's quite a big presentation to get them off the wall. I could probably show you real quick.
Yeah, I was going to say, show them.
Oh wow.
That's
Okay,
the
yeah,
most-
I can understand.
That's the most
What'd you think of
expensive. That's the most expensive thing I've ever framed.
What'd you think of the movie?
What's that?
What'd you think of the movie?
It was not
It was-
a true story, Dave. No.
Look,
It was okay once.
she's calming him down already. Get the Dave's off the ledge.
Once.
Dave's
I
on the
lived
ledge.
through it. It's not a happy. I mean, it wasn't a happy ending. Thank God Kevin's okay, and he came out good on the other side. The one thing about the movie that I liked is that it showed how much those brothers loved each other. But I didn't like how they portrayed Carrie. I didn't like how they portrayed Fritz. I don't believe that was a true portrayal of Fritz. The way they portrayed him in the movie, I honestly thought that Doris was fixing to catch them hands when she didn't fix dinner and she was painting.
Yeah.
Fritz wasn't the wife beater, but I'm just saying that the way they portrayed him, they did the kayfabe. And I could pick it apart, and we're going to do that on our channel. We're going to watch it. We're going to do a show called Two Shows, One Cup, where we watch something and crap on it. And so it'll be us and Drunken Pop just dumping on whatever we're watching. And we'll watch the movie.
Not be me. I will not be probably.
Yeah. We're going to watch the movie.
You're giving a lot of people flashbacks from 2002 to 2003 right now. That is not very fun when somebody's saying that. This is a hilarious video, and all of a sudden you're in trouble, and your wife.
We tried to name the channel that, and nobody got the joke, so we quickly got out of that.
I wanted to start a podcast called lemonparty.org. Nobody wanted to go with it.
Amy, you need to send Ethan a candle and Dave a candle. I don't.
It was just a fun play on words, but we're gonna.
Yeah.
But did you see the Hollywood Demons episode of The Real Iron Claw? Hollywood Demons. I'm glad that Kevin's talking about it now. I think the movie has caused. It's shined a spotlight on Kevin. It's gave Kevin a bolt. I mean, Kevin's back in America now. They've got a ranch in Texas. It's a nice wedding venue. He's hosting wrestling there. RCW's running shows on his ranch. I think Kevin's enjoying being part of wrestling again. And he's been forced to talk about this issue.
I think it's helped him.
I think that's helpful. And his daughters came out and said that my daddy wasn't this way. Because anybody that tells you that Carrie was a sweetheart, go try to watch Carrie be a heel in Florida and see how bad it don't work. Because Carrie was such a good guy.
Probably as bad as Cena's heel turn.
Worse. Oh no, there's nothing believable about Carrie trying to cut a heel promo.
There's a poll in the chat right now, everybody, that we started at the end. It's heel run. If you liked it or not liked it, please chime in on that. Click on that, whether you've liked it. We'll reveal the poll votes at the poll results at the end of the program. But as you were talking about there, for me, a guy, I don't want to sit down and talk with somebody one-on-one with me. For me, a guy, if there's something that I'm keeping internally, like my parents' death or my brother's death or something like that I've dealt with, just general stories and general chats with a bunch of people around or on a podcast opens things up, and it makes you feel better more than sitting in there and somebody doing one of these numbers on you. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to agree and disagree.
What are you writing down? I mean,
but Ethan, I did enjoy the movie. but I probably will never watch it again, other than what I just said to make fun of it. But that's for content. Once was enough for me. It wasn't one like I got to watch it every time it comes on.
I thought the casting, the characters, they look good except for Flair. Flair looked terrible.
Yes, Flair was horrible.
For me, being on the West Coast, being my age, Indies wasn't a thing for us. It was WWE or WCW. That's all we had. So when I was a kid, I was the Ultimate Warrior fan, but I love Texas Tornado. That was my introduction to Kerry. I never would have guessed in a million years he didn't have a foot. I didn't know these things, and then so watching these movies and watching these shows kind of gives me like a better perspective, because even with the Indies, I don't know if you watch the show Heels.
I've seen a couple episodes of it. It wasn't something that I went through.
It's just something okay, you see how that's kind of like an indie style thing now, because then you got to go back and watch everything as I'm older. It's different, but yeah, it's
block Darren Staley now.
Yes.
I will not have him disparage the good name of Tracy Lawrence, and Texas Tornado is my favorite song that Tracy Lawrence does.
Tracy Lawrence with that hat and then had them blonde curls coming out. Fernandino CMT. This generation has no clue about how great things.
You don't realize how many great songs Tracy Lawrence has until you ask Siri to play the essential Tracy Lawrence on Apple Music, and then how many good songs he has.
Is it called a mid? Well, we're almost all the same. Dave, I know you're 93 and you've already gone through it, but I think I'm understanding what people are calling the midlife crisis, or maybe it's so much medication from being sick. But for me, I am constantly, we moved back to take care of our family farm and take over the family farm, and then my mom has the house and then the other stuff. And then when she passed away, and then now I don't have my parents and my brothers, but I'm constantly walking through the house or the farm or doing something, or even not around here. I'm always like, it's not like buying it. I have the thing of, I want to go back. Please take me back to the 80s, or give me 88 to 90, 95. Give me 92. Do you guys, is that a midlife? I mean, I'm constant with it. I hate today's world. So many people are angry. I got messages of why are you having that podcast on your show? I thought you were a belt hobby show. And I said, well, it's probably because you're uneducated, stupid. Please unsub. And people are just so hateful, ignorant, and stupid. And it's the thing to where I walk around. I'm like, I don't know if it's middle. Constantly, I want to go back. I want to.
I don't think it's midlife crisis.
I don't want the internet. I don't want internet. I don't want YouTube. I want we still have our house phone. It's on the wall. Mm-hmm. Don't call my cell phone. I don't know where the heck that thing is. I forget with my condition. I forget I'm taking a doo-doo on the toilet. You think I know where my cell phone's at? Call me on that wall phone, because I can find that when it rings. But do you guys have that sense? You go up in the are you constantly and guys in the chat, it's like I want to go back so badly, because it's just everywhere you look, it's hate. The news isn't news anymore. Nothing is like what it used to be. You don't find out what's going on in the mid-vacation. It's all one side political, and everything's politicized. And even for me, and this is the question that I'm leading into, wrestling, I can't stand it. And it makes me angry. I'm like, is this what my childhood dream turned into? Is these guys doing something, and he does a spin, and because the guy's 10 seconds late for getting up, he's still there.
That's what you said earlier, that there's no interaction with the fans anymore, because they're trying to remember what they're supposed to do next.
Yes. And why as somebody with, I've got CTE, and that's what my condition is, and you probably too don't know, but that's what my issue is. I do not understand why we have taught this forearm to be slapped into the side of the head, and it does take and those little blows owed over time. And they're to understand that what happened with the Ric Flair and the Bobby Eaton was the greatest of it. You grab the top of the head, and that's where you struck. Why are we now with this? So my question is,
in karate class, they teach you that's supposed to be, it won't break your hand. That's supposed to be the knockout. That's the only thing I remember about my karate class. But
that's my question is.
But that's where they're getting it. they're trying to do these.
Do the chop on there, but they're doing it on the below of the head, but it's so stupid looking, and you can't slow that down enough because so you are connecting a little bit, and those little teeny tiny blows adds up. But I'd rather see that top where you're kitting there and you're right on, and you're hearing it. You remember Bobby Eaton's slap that you could hear clear across the way, and he was holding here, and he slapped the mess out of those. Where's that at? But my question to you, and I'll start with you, Amy, is what is your view of what wrestling was then to today? And do you like today's wrestling for that? And I'll give you a minute on that because we got less than 5 minutes and I don't want to keep you guys, too much on your commitment on here.
Well, I think one of the things that Ethan said earlier is just he kind of had to go back and watch things because he was WWE, WCW, and I very much was the same way. Like I had no idea Rick Martel he didn't just show up as the model or Strike Force, like that he had a whole career. He was the AWA heavyweight champion. And same thing with Macho Man, Texas Tornado, all these things. So as I got older, I didn't like the Four Horsemen when I was growing up.
Right.
But going back and looking at that, their ability to work and sell and what they were presenting in the ring, that's whenever I became a huge fan. I feel sorry for the wrestling fans of what we have today in some ways because they don't get to see what we did when we were younger because they already know everything. I mean, like you said, it's already all over the internet and it's already, we know that they're not really bad guys. We know they really don't hate each other, because we get to see them on Twitter together or doing whatever. Yeah. So, I feel sorry that they don't get that same experience. And I kind of feel sorry I feel like the wrestlers have it better, because you will hear the old timers talk about the travel schedule and what they were doing. And oh my goodness.
Amen.
And there was a lot of dealing with pain and that, unfortunately probably has led to earlier deaths and some different things like that out there. But just wanting to get your stuff in the ring because, the marks or whatever you want to call them will be like, this is awesome. I don't need to see someone do a 450 splash or whatever.
6 times.
If it makes no sense, even the other day we were talking about it on our show about Backlash. Okay. There was 7 RKOs and at least 3 of them didn't fall into, Jamie Noble was standing there waiting for his turn to get RKO'd. So then it just kind of like lost its luster, like I liked how it was kind of organically happening, but then they had to be like, okay, you go, no, me go. So I feel sorry because I feel like our wrestling watching was best when we didn't know. I understand why we need to know now because of the internet and the way things are now, but I think that they're really missing out. And I think that's the reason why nostalgic. Pondwater and I, we have independent wrestlers on our show a lot, but we do talk a lot about nostalgia. And I think that's the reason why that hits so much is because people miss that. It's obviously not the same thing that's going on now. So
it's too much spot wrestling. It's too much scripted. I think you got to play to the crowd and whatever. And there's going to be some point where live on air, one of these stupid 350 spins, whatever they call them, somebody is going to die in the ring again. It's going to happen. It's going to happen live. Mm-hmm. And I think it's the only way that's going to change some of the stuff that's happening.
Did you guys watch Bugs Bunny? Did y'all watch Bugs Bunny as kids?
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Do you remember the cartoon where Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck were on stage and Bugs would do something and the crowd went crazy for it? And then Daffy would do something and it was crickets.
Yep.
And then Bugs would do a little something and the crowd liked it. But Daffy was working real hard trying to get a pop.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finally drinks gasoline and nitroglycerin and eats dynamite and he does all this stuff and he lights it and he blows up. And then he's floating up to heaven. And Bugs says, Daffy, they love it. But what are you going to do for an encore? That's today's professional wrestling.
Yep.
There's going to be a point where and it almost happened. It almost happened on TNA with God. I can't think of the kid's name. Where he was up on top of the the cage
Recently? What's
recently, and everybody was
Okay.
down there supposed to catch him, and he ate it. Nobody caught him.
Yeah,
Oh.
I remember what you saw.
And I mean, and Bully Ray explained that when you do that, everybody lays out, you got something to catch. But he did the 450, and it made it a smaller. Plus,
Leon Slater.
and it made him come down faster. And the human body makes you protect yourself, so the guys hit that object coming at them.
At some point, somebody's got to step back and say,
no,
this isn't wrestling. This is dangerous, and we've got to get back to telling a story. I can put on NWA today, and my heart, and I can feel my emotions from the beginning of the match all the way to the end, and I still feel it inside of me, and it's lost. And I'm tired of us picking champions based on their songs, based on their things, the 20-minute intros, the same stuff every week. It seems like as we're putting the two champions in the ring to go mic to mic, it's getting old. If people say, well, a lot of people are complaining, and WWE always says, well, we don't have time to get so many guys on TV. You would if you'd stop the Monday Night Raws that are 30 minutes of the two guys talking with the same talking points every week, and let some new guys wrestle. Bring back the cruiserweight, because Mr. Yeet Boy doesn't deserve to be a world champion. He's too small. Bring back tag team wrestling. I want tag team wrestling, not two guys that are put together. Tag team, a name, a tag team. Make tag team great. You could give so many guys more time off. By this week, the champions had off because you didn't have them clashing in the ring or having that 20-minute talk, to where this week you're focusing on some tag teams. Then Friday's Raws, you could give more guys time off, more guys time to prepare. Gosh knows, more time to practice whatever they're getting in the ring. And for me, it's just showing way too much. And in AEW, I used to like Toni Storm and her character, whatever, but now her character is just involved in just vulgarity out of her mouth. Everything's got to be sexual and natural, and I'm like, this is what you want to watch.
You recognize where she got that, right?
What's that?
You know where she got that gimmick?
No, I don't.
When I was a kid, I used to watch Carol Burnett's show, and there was a silent movie star. And he called Harvey Korman played Max and called her Madam, but I think it was Marlena Dietrich or something like that, or Nora Dietrich or something. But what I'm saying is that character, that old silent movie star, and her butler Max, that's what Toni Storm was doing when she started that and got Luther to be Luther is the Max character.
Oh, it's a great character. I'm just saying,
and she got Luther over. Nobody else could. It has. I agree with you now that her promos
are getting vulgar.
I can't watch it with my grandkids.
No, you can't. And we're having wrestlers. We're promoting guys coming in WrestleMania. Guys sat around talking about a guy who openly does drugs all the time, makes videos about it, beating women, shooting people. And then we got Yeet coming down 2 weeks beforehand with a joint in his hand, drunk in the background. What are we doing? That's the thing that upsets me.
I live through the Attitude Era.
I guess I'm just old and cranky.
Well,
and let me just
it's your. Oh, go ahead.
No, Ethan, go ahead, because you've been cut off a lot tonight.
No, it's fine. I was just saying, going back to what Kevin's talking about, wanting to go back, but it's the purity of the times in general. If you're a kid between 1980 to like 1995, that was like a weirdly pure time. And when I was a kid, I remember I thought The Undertaker versus The Undertaker. I thought there was two Undertakers. I didn't know that. I thought there was, a casket match. I thought somebody was dying, so that purity is what's missing now, because it's all over dramatized, just fake, circus act.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have that purity of looking at it the way we used to look at it anymore.
I'm drawn to wrestlers that are believable. Braun Breaker is believable. Brock Lesnar is believable. Jacob Fatu is believable. And I'm so excited Jeff Cobb's there now. JC, whatever his last name is going to be, but at least JC is Jeff Cobb.
FTR in AEW was believable at one point. And then all of a sudden, that's the greatest downfall I've ever seen. A mismatch. They absolutely ruined that guy because that guy was a walking, talking promo, kayfabe old style. What did you do, AEW? But he was spectacular. But I don't know what's happened to him. We've got a minute left.
Thank you, Big Boys Belts.
Yeah. We've got a minute left, and I wanted to ask you real quick, 10 seconds each. Amy, do you collect belts? And if you have a belt in your collection, what is your favorite? I'm hoping I hear what it is. I hope I hear it.
The only belt I actually have two of the exact same belt, and it is the TV title.
I agree, man. Okay.
And one was given to me, and I won the other one. So just tell you about that.
Yeah, man.
And Arn has signed them. So
do you know who made that belt that you got?
No.
No. That's good.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. And Dave, your favorite belt in your collection, what is it? There it is.
10 pounds of gold.
10 pounds of gold. Absolutely.
This is the one that hits me in the feels.
Gotcha. And your favorite wrestling memorabilia piece that you have, Dave, is
my David Von Erich trunks.
And Amy, your favorite wrestling memorabilia that you?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's over here. You can't see it. I'll be real quick. So I took my son when he was younger, when they would do house shows in Cape Girardeau, which is not very far from us. We got him tickets. This was the window of time when he was actually liking it. He was like 6 or 7. And we took him, his birthday, bless his heart, is Christmas Eve. So it was in January. And I made him a sign, and it says, "I'm here for my birthday." And I had a pen, and we got everybody that came down signed it. Roman Reigns signed it. Sasha signed it. Bailey signed it. Apollo Crews signed it. Jordan. What's that? He was with American Alpha. What's his first name? Something Jordan. You know what I'm talking about?
Michael Jordan?
Jason Jordan.
Jason Jordan.
Jason Jordan.
So we got all of them signed it for his birthday. And that is probably my most precious piece, because that also reminds me of my little boy. He's not a little boy anymore. He's 15. And his just enjoying that and having all the wrestlers sign it. And that's really brings a big smile to my face. So that's my favorite that I have.
And those are memories. And when we're long and gone, and this stuff and these houses and these goes to somebody else, hopefully it holds the memories that it held for us. Cause that's what, I talk about a lot. This show is about reliving all those memories we had as a kid. When we look at these wrestling figures and we hold these belts, it takes me back to all those memories and being a 12-year-old kid. And I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that you guys came in and stayed on a little longer than we had. And I'm sorry about the issue we're getting with YouTube, but there's many things we didn't cover. So maybe in another, maybe in another 15 years, if Dave's still alive, you guys will come on. No, we want to have you on the program again.
I really would like to hear Ethan. We cut Ethan off when he was talking about the Iron Claw. He asked my take, and we didn't get to hear the point he was about to make.
Because you told him it was so crappy, he didn't want to hurt their feeling. But go ahead, Ethan, tell them if they got 15 more seconds. Go ahead.
And I forget now. I was going off somewhere, and then
told you, Dave.
Well, I got a closing comment since this is a belt related podcast. And I don't know if you new guys know this or not, but I'm the belt pope.
There you go.
I was ordained a belt pope in the early 2000s by Shane Kovac. So,
Amy's getting ready lightning in Texas.
No, I'm the first American pope. Anyway, no, but seriously, I was called the belt pope because I don't know, they gave it to me and it stuck. But what I want to say is where the hobby is now. I remember the birth of the hobby, basically.
Yeah.
And there's the explosion. And I'm here to tell you belt collectors, you belt marks, if you will, that the guy that only has the cardboard paper tinfoil belts that he made is every bit the belt collector that Conrad Thompson, who owns the Big Gold Belt, is.
Yes.
There's no levels. These are not competitions. We all love to collect props from a fake sport
Yes.
that we love.
And
We all love it. We see them. They take us back to a different time. We see them because they're beautiful. I consider them art. I consider them. Somebody told me, Dave, you're not a belt collector. And I was like,
what?
But because I get a lot of belts from Pakistan now.
So are some of them that are behind
What
me.
I'm saying is, just because that belt that I just showed you, that's a Milliken belt.
Mhm.
It's for sale. Because you know what I'm going to do when I sell it? I'm
Buy
probably going
5 belts.
to buy me a C4 and a Fandu to replace it. Because the Fandu Dome Globe is probably the best replica ever made of that belt.
Yeah. It is. And we say it a lot on the show, and we go over a lot of stuff. We cover topics from what terms mean to what terms mean, real other guys, and that and the other. And it doesn't matter if that belt is $140 or $4,000. It's a memory that you bring. And when you look down on somebody from that, remember, if you got to step on somebody to make yourself feel bigger, you got a lot of problems in life and you're unhappy in life. I say it all the time to people, and I recommend to people.
Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Let's be good to each other and quit fighting and having pissing matches with each other. We're band together. Just bring it together as a community and be great to each other. There's no class system in belt collecting. And if you
enjoy the belt.
When if you think because you own a Reggie belt from 2000,
to make you any better,
it don't make you no better.
Nope, no. And it doesn't change the memory that it holds for you,
not a
rather than the
competition.
person that holds it.
It's not a competition. I got 70 belts, but I didn't win anything.
Right. You were just named the Pope. The thing that I say is, when you see somebody have a new belt day, congratulate them.
Yes.
Don't talk about how bad it is. Don't talk about if you think it's bad or you don't think it's bad. People don't have the money to spend on that or that. There's different levels in the hobby, just like every hobby, from knives to guns to often FedEx drivers. There's all different types of hobbies that you have to be in. Be kind to one another. Enjoy it. Post your wrestling stuff. Share the memories that you have. And I always talk about great groups. Wide World of Belts. Love those wrestling belts. Championship Belt Brothers. Big Boys belts. Inner Circle belts. Is there others that I'm missing, Ethan? Or that you know, Dave, that I'm missing?
Classic Championship belts.
Classic Championship belts. We collect wrestling. Inner Circle is a great one. Belt Masters is a great group as well too. A lot of those guys are from overseas. Find the groups, and you don't need to be in this hobby, and this is hobby related. You don't need to be in 50 of them. Pick the good ones that support you, because let me tell you something. There is hundreds that are run by scammers and pitch thieves, and you're going to get taken. So just be careful of what you are. Don't be mad. And if somebody insults your belt, they didn't pay nothing for it. They're mad. They're angry. They're jealous. Like my dad told me.
Can I share a quick story?
My dad told me you kill him with success and you bury him with a smile.
Can I share a quick story about if you've got a big belt brain? Like if you want to pick them apart, you know what's wrong with them when you see them. Like I've never seen a Texas replica that I didn't think, man, that's not even close. But that happens because if you remember how they used to be and you've actually seen the actual belts. But you don't have to crap on whoever's got it and they're happy with it. You don't have to point out why it's not what it. Don't make them unhappy with their belt because it's not right. Because I got a belt as a gift. It was you remember the Mid-Atlantic United States belt on the leather, the croc leather it looked like with the. That's not a pretty belt.
No.
The version that I got of it was like on vinyl and cardboard inside the vinyl, and it was a nice gesture. But in fairness, was a crappy belt. But nonetheless, I was proud to have it. It was given to me in Florida at Wrestler Union in 2005. And I'm walking to my room with a belt collector named Dwayne. Anybody that's been around a long time probably knows Dwayne. Dwayne had probably, you don't know all that he had, but he had every version of every belt. And he was meticulous about it. And we're walking to our room, and I roomed with him so I could see his belts. And nice guy. When I say he's the Sheldon Cooper of belt collecting, I don't mean it disparagingly, but he knows too much for his own good sometimes. And I'm going to tell you because Sabu was walking up the hall.
Uh-oh.
with somebody, and Sabu saw the belt. And he didn't care how crappy that belt was. He came over to me and said, "Can I see that?" And he's looking at it, and he starts sharing a story with me about his uncle, the Sheik, because that was the belt his uncle made famous in Detroit. And he's talking about the belt, and he's telling his friend, and Dwayne starts correcting him about the inaccuracies. And it pissed Sabu off, and the conversation was over.
Yep.
What did his big brain get us there? If he'd just kept his mouth shut, Sabu was sharing so much with us. Because I've also been around with Sabu when Sabu was being pretty surly to everybody.
There was those times, unfortunately.
So what I'm telling you is don't flex your big brain on people unless somebody comes in and says, "Here's my belt. Can y'all tell me what we could have done better?"
Then you do it with a humble attitude.
Right.
You don't trash it with rat and what. Well, you could have worked on this, or hey, you might even say, "I'll PM you." Therefore, it's not hurting that people because there's too many people that will judge you and do things based on according to their mood at the time, or their needs, or they're doing it for a specific reason. And you've got to remember that there's a lot of jealousy in this world and hateful people, and people will provoke you just to do that so that they can get a response and a negative response out of you. And guess what? When you do, they're going to try to turn it and play the victim. So don't play into those games. Just be happy and enjoy the hobby.
And I'm not calling out anybody in particular. It's just I don't get the opportunity to address the belt.
Those people know who they are, and they need to humble themselves, learn a few things, because there's going to come a time where they're going to need that help. They're going to need that humility. They're going to need those prayers from somebody, and they're not going to get them, which is unfortunate because of what they did to somebody. People don't understand. You can say things and be forgiven, but people don't forget things. No. And it's the same thing with God. He'll forgive, but he's not going to forget what you've done because he expects you to play on to it and keep getting better. And nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, and we're all going to make mistakes because we sin every day. But I thank you two so very much for coming on. I want everybody to watch this show. It is such a wonderful show. I get so much of enjoyment out of it. I comment way too much when I'm on there. But it is every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, talking Rasslin. I love the way that is with the Rasslin in there, with Pondwater Dave and Amy.
That's
spectacular couple. They play off each other so well. They play games. They do everything. And at the end of the Tonight Show, we're going to let them go. We are going to do a giveaway tonight. And who the winner tonight, we're going to give away one of their T-shirts, and we'll get it sent to their front door. But I also want to make sure that you guys make sure that you tune into the show next week to meet this great author of this fabulous book and a wrestling fan. Support everybody, support all the podcasts, do all the great things. Make sure you check them out on YouTube at Making Moments. You can go makingmoments.com, or you can just go to YouTube and type in Making Moments, and it's there. I said Make Out Moments.
Make Out Moments sounds like a fun website, though.
I'm getting that Arn Anderson.
Check that out when we get off here.
That's that Arn Anderson nipple comment. I have it right there. I have it right there. I have Ricky Morton right beside him too. I don't know why they didn't make Robert Gibson, but the Ricky Morton sitting right beside him.
Poor Robert.
Yeah, he always gets left behind. I still have my original from
now I got to show my dog.
But make sure you check out that and support these guys because they put a lot into it. Go to jumpinthepond.com for all their shirts and merchandise. There will be a shirt in there that says Kevin Davenport is the greatest ugly man of the Double Dropkick podcast. That shirt will come in there very, very soon. If my brain doesn't turn to mush. Ethan, did you want to say anything to these fabulous two kind people before we let them get out of here on their time that they've come with us? I like what you shared there, Dave.
We just greatly appreciate you guys coming on. It was fantastic. We got to meet the First Lady, which was an honor. And then there's Dave, the Pope of the hobby. So, I mean, it's a good night. It's a good Saturday night.
I couldn't do it without the First Lady of the Arn Anderson fan club. And that's a shoot. She's awesome. And she tells me that she can't do an episode. I'll pick another night of the week so she can, because I hate to do one without her.
Behind every great man, there's a greater woman.
There you go. Thank you, Amy, to your family for letting you come on and spend a Saturday evening with us. The same way with your Dave. Please tell your family we thank you so very much for you guys coming on. We didn't even get to talk about one of the best guys in the hobbies. We're going to do another interview with him, Jay-Z Fair. Bojangles, if you're watching, put this guy on there. One of the great guys in the hobby. Go check him out as well. He's a great friend of Dave. And Dave, if you see Conrad
All this
Thompson,
exists behind me now.
if you see Conrad Thompson, just tell him from fans, thank you so very much for letting people touch and hold those belts. That is absolutely spectacular. Because when I fart in this room, I have to go clean every belt. That's how I am with my belt. So I make sure I have to, so he goes and lets people touch them. Thank him from us, and tell him that Double Dropkick said we thank him so very much for doing all those great things for the fans. He gets it, and this show supports all his stuff. We support you guys. Is there anything that you want to plug that we did not plug before we get out of here?
Man, you got it covered. I can't think of anything. Any of y'all live in Mississippi, I'll be at Lost Art of Wrestling in Florence, Mississippi on the 30th. Come and see us.
I do want to bring you guys back because I do want to. The main question I got, and my producer just says, "How'd you not ask this?" I did want to ask the question of, it's been so many years after you've done the 1 through 3 in one of this Ric Flair's match that you've had a lot of time to perspective on looking back. So when we bring you back, I want to be able for you to go over that, because I imagine the feeling was greatness over. What's your perspective years back? Because we got an audio clip, we didn't get to play it, where Ric Flair is paying you money to make sure you got that 3 count. So we'll go over that next time we got in there. But I wanted to hear your perspective of that years later, because that was an iconic moment. Thank you for being a part of that moment. Thank you for adding to that moment. And thank you so very much for not colliding into the ring when you slid into third, because I tell you what, that was a slide. I was like, "Hey!"
That's my thing.
I thought you were going across. I was like, I think he's 150, but I might not sure. I think he's going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm out of here. I thought you were going on the other side, but we wanted to talk about that. Thank you guys so very much. You guys are absolutely spectacular. Everybody in there, when they get off, give them the DDKs, as we call them, on there. We'll see you guys soon, and watch Tuesday night. Thank you so very much for being a part of Double Dropkick, and enjoy the rest of you guys' evenings. Okay, guys?
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Good night.
Take care, guys. Dave and Amy. How awesome were them two individuals? With their time.
It's so nice to have.
We didn't get to half the things that I wanted to talk about. They're so easy to talk to. They're so kind.
Such easy people to talk to, man. And you know how I am. Generally, by second hour, I'm like,
I want to be able to. I met him long ago, whatever, and I was like, "Ooh, that's the cool Pondwater." Because I think Jay-Z sends him checks to promote or whatever, right? But Jay-Z's like, "Yeah," and we were introduced, and this was years ago at a thing. But he's a really nice guy, and you can sit down with him, and I'm overhearing. Sometimes I was at a table and he was over the table, and the stories he's got, the people that he knows, and he's humble about it, and he understands where he got and what he's doing, and he's still doing the 1 through 3 count, and he went through a tragedy in his life, and he overcome with that, and it's a testament of being humble, treating people right, and things will follow your right way. And I absolutely love that show, and I used to watch it afterwards. We used to be on an hour after their show, or just about an hour after the show, right after their show ended. So I couldn't get it because, people don't understand, when you produce a show and you do these things and you make these videos, a lot goes into it. It's not just not coming up here and putting things on, and they do a lot of things too. So watch all these shows, right?
Yeah, Kev's not Kev just doesn't come in here, click a live button, and that's just it, and everything happens. Kev puts a lot of work into this, and me and Hammer help where we can, and it's just it's a feat to do this weekly. So just support and like, and it doesn't have to be one show versus the other. There's plenty of eyes to go around for everybody.
We've got a little scheduling issue that we will reschedule the the interview with Nick Carnival and Chris. We will do that. We'll try to get that on next week with them. They had to schedule out and the stuff that's that them two wanted to talk about. But yeah, it's the same thing. Is don't look down on people if they don't get a dinner. Help them. If you think it's that, if you think that belt they paid at it and they're like, well, I have more money but I don't know where to go, whatever, then help them. But there's different levels of the hobby, and you gotta put people forward, help everything out, do everything that's great. I can get them. Yeah, I mean, there's leather guys that come on this show and all that kind of stuff. And it's a great thing. Ethan, you got to tell the guys that are watching what they got to do each week to be a part of the show, man.
Like, share, subscribe. It helps the algorithm. It helps us. It helps keep everything moving forward. It's just helpful, and it's a thank you to us too. And we appreciate each and every one of you guys. All the comments. We got the guys like Doza and Platinum and Chris and Ben and all these people that just make it so pleasurable to do the show.
Belt Hobby Jesus is here, so there he is. A lot of people did. Darren, I had remember the foam belts that came, and I hated the plastic on it, so my dad bought one of the little foam belts, the Ralco one from '88, and he took those plastic plates off, put the rivets on, and we put it on a weightlifting belt, so it had that floppy thing to it, and it was pretty cool. Don't treat people bad in the hobby. There's constant drama that goes on in this hobby. There's constant people that are jealous that will try to bring you down and make videos. Don't want to do that. Don't let them argue with you, because if you pop back, they're going to play victim. They love playing the victim. They have nothing to add to this hobby, to this thing. There is something out there. I don't understand what it is, but there's a big boys belt with S on it. The original group is Big Boys with a Z. Those are the ones, and some here that are on the crack. I don't know what's going on with all that.
Imitation is the best form of flattery, I guess.
I guess that's that's kind of what it is. And we'll have them back because there's a lot of things that we want to talk to them about that we didn't get from 1994. Oh yeah,
$10 PayPal if you come on air and open it and eat it.
Just Hernandez are hilarious. The Stanky Podcast.
That's Thursdays.
Yeah, that's Thursday. It's like Howard said. Oh yeah, and Robert. Yeah. I touched his belt. But make sure you guys go down and like and subscribe. We're going to be doing a belt giveaway here soon, celebrating our 2,000 members. We've got that scheduled. I'll release the date as I make sure the belt gets here a little first before we release that date in case we got to back up. But we're well over 2,500 subs, and we thank each and every one of you that subscribe and make this program what it is. We love having you. This show is for you, about you, the belt hobby. It is designed to give you a heads up and info on the hobby. That's why we interview so many different people on this podcast. To try to give you the insides and outs of what's going on. I mean, we've had you can think off the top of your head. I can't name some of the people that we've had on the show that have done that.
I mean, everybody. I mean, look at what we got coming up. We got I never knew what Ron Edwardson looked like. What about AJ Giddings? I mean, some of these people you see them around the hobby and you don't put a face to him. You look at Mendoza. I mean, I didn't know he was a cook at a Mexican restaurant and started doing leather. Didn't know that. There's so much you can learn by just seeing people, and they're not just a screen name anymore. You're putting a face to it, and it makes it more personal, and maybe it'll make the hobby better because now you've seen that person and you maybe can understand that person better, and now it's just not a nameless face to a something typing.
And yes, Dave, we want to get you back, talk a little more wrestling. And I want to, like I said, I definitely want to hear the perspective of, it's been so many years since Ric Flair's last match that if some of you don't know watching, he was a referee in that match. He was the guy supermaning it in and getting that 1, 2, 3 count on Ric Flair, sold it fabulously, and then handed Ric Flair the belt, who ended up just dropping it 3 times on the way up to the ramp. But we wanted to hear his perspective looking back. You go through an iconic moment that will live in history, that is a huge moment, and you were a part of that. And sometimes it takes perspective to realize things, because winning a conference championship in baseball at the time, great. Now, years later, here I am from 95, where what 1995 was happening. Was that 30 years ago? 30 years removed from that, there's a lot more perspective. You have things on iconic moments in your life, or great things that happened in your life that you remember, and you have different perspectives on those. And I wanted to definitely hear these two. I swear y'all make me just about pee my pants every time with your comments. That's pretty cool. I did want to give a shout out to people like having it. Yeah, encourage them. Congratulate them. I do that as many times as I can through. That's one of the first things I try to do when I get on Facebook, is congratulate a new belt day, help them in, bring them into the group. These groups that I talk about, it's not just belts. Post your favorite matches, your favorite pictures, your wrestling memorabilia. There is another great group that I want a lot of people to know about. That is Championship Figure Brothers. Yes, it is a sister group, or a brother group, however you want to say, to Championship Belt Brothers. And it is a great and fabulous group that they have there, and it posts up all your wrestling figures on there, and it's so very, very fun to that. I also wanted to say David Johnston. He is one of the most hardest working people I know in the hobby with his jobs that he does. He's going through some difficult times. So David Johnston in the hobby, say a prayer for him. Just maybe send a message. Hey, encouraging you, a prayers for you. Don't try to get in somebody's personal life. Just say a prayer for them for that. I also wanted to thank, I got a little care package tonight in the mail. As everybody know, I'm an alumni of the University of Pittsburgh, and I got a great cup from my friend Gianni Martello, who does the ushering and the things of there. And I wanted one because, I'm not able to do a travel and go to the games and whatever. In the Backyard Brawl, I wanted one of the new little things that they held out when we took West Virginia in the backroom ball and kicked them back to West Virginia, where they can go keep making babies with their sister. So WVU sucks, PENNST sucks, hell to Pitt. Thank you so very much for Johnny. That was kind of you, and I really, really, really appreciate that. No, please don't do that, Darren. Please don't do that. The other thing is keep it drama free, sucker free, brother. Absolutely. The other thing I wanted to talk about as we're 5 minutes from now, make sure you check out Spinning the Good podcast on Thursday nights. They do a wonderful job. You got to get them to 500 subs. So those of you that are new to them tonight, get them over. They talk wrestling, some belt hobby stuff, and cover all the good stuff and great topics over there. They have some interviews as well. Spanning the Globe podcast every Thursday night, 8 p.m. 7 Central. Andy, Mark, Richard, and Ben do a fabulous job over there. Get them to 500 so they can give a belt giveaway. I'm sad to say you guys won't win it because I will rig it. Also, check out C4 Authentic Belts, the only one partnered with Crumrine themselves. The C4 Ortiz Crumrine Big Gold. It is the most spectacular belt in the hobby today. Check them out on Facebook at C4 Authentic Belts or online at c4authenticbelts.com. Taking you back to like it's 1986. We got to not be able to get out of here without doing, we got the picture of the week, and we always love showing off your pictures, and you got to post those pictures in those groups. I pick them out of the wide world of belts because that's when I'm a madman. So post them up in there. But let's roll it. And this week's picture of the week is from good old Buck with this belt that he put on Wide World Belts. Very interesting concept belt. They took a play off of the Intercontinental by showing the different continents on around. I think it looks pretty cool the way that this was done. It's got great detail to it. But he put it on there, and I wanted to show off a different type of belt. Usually we don't show off too many customs, but this one was a great custom that I wanted to show off by Buck. Ethan, what do you think of this belt? Chat, what do you guys think of this belt?
I like it. I'm surprised I like it, but it works.
It flows. It flows. It flows. So, Buck, you are the DDK Pitcher of the Week. Congratulations on that. It is our DDK Saturday night. We have a great time here. The other thing I wanted to mention just before we get out of here is Marked Championship Leather. Make sure you check him out. He does a wonderful job on his leather. He does have openings right now. So that's a time to get your belt in. He does them very fast. So he has an opening schedule. Hit up Mark Maggard, Mark Championship Leather. Hit him over on the Facebook page or at Wide World of Belts, or just messages him. He has some openings up for his leather. Also check out Hernandez, the restoning and paint modification for all your needs, and check out Hammer's promos. Hammer does a great job for us here at DDK. He is part of the DDK team. And check us out on our socials and our pretty good off the belt reviews that we have here on the program. Next week, tell them who's going to be on the show there.
Ron, this is another one I'm just ecstatic to have on, man. It's Ron Edwardson. We see him around the hobby. We see him making belts. We see him doing big things. And now look, he's going to double drop kick it.
He's going to be on there on the program. It's going to be a great time right here on Double Drop Kick. So before we get out of here, is there anything that we missed, we didn't cover, or you wanted to talk about the hobby or anything that's going on in the hobby? Make any comments on the hobby of, I guess, some stuff that's happened in another group with an individual? Did you want to talk? We wanted to get into that next week. Are you not knowing what I'm talking about?
I think so.
It's in the chat right now, the private chat. But we have a fun time. There we go. It's pretty cool. Oh, new belt day for you. Congratulations to you.
Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray!
That is pretty cool.
I think that's subject we should touch on when we have our guest on next week.
Okay. They'll address that, and we'll have some fun with that. Thank you so much, Gianni, for those gifts. Awesome gifts. I'm glad I got them in the mail. I appreciate it. And Ben said, "Don't bother asking, man." Or is that right? Yep, there we go. Hernandez, there we go. That's who you need to check out if you need some restoning needs. There's a lot of people in the hobby. He's one of the good ones that can do it. That's interesting. I dig it. Yeah, it was a good play on how they did Intercontinental Belt, and then they showed all the continents just using a globe, doing it different. And then I'm a fan of globes because of Reggie's works. He always has great stuff with his globes. When he makes a globe, I think just sets the belt out, and Reggie was the best at using globes. No problem. We appreciate you. Yes, no one has anything. Yeah, from that video, no one here has anything to care. I don't. But this show's not about my opinions. It's all you guys' opinion. And the poll, tell us what happened in the poll tonight, Ethan. What was the results of the polls?
Let me pull up the results.
It says, John Cena heel run. Are you liking it or no? For me, I'm not liking it because I think he needed to go full bore. He's still walking out there with a dignity, respect, and pride, and all those merchandise. He should have went bald head, just a black shirt, like he came out of WrestleMania that just says John Cena. I don't think
so. As the results come in,
yes, he did.
We got 55% like it to 45% do not like it.
Wow, people liked it.
Yeah, 42 votes. I mean,
wow. I'm surprised that many people like it. Do you okay, maybe it's a preface of a question. Maybe I should have said, do you like the look of his heel run? Everybody wanted a John Cena heel run. I just don't think his heel run, why are some plates heavier than others? That are due to the thickness of them and what they're made of. On the material. If it's zinc, if it's brass, going to be light. But the thicker you get from 2mm belts to 4mm belts to 4.2, Reggie's always used to be 4.2. Some guys make these belts. Some guys make these belts that are very, very thick, 8-10 millimeters. It's the material that's in the belt. Yes, he did a great interview with Ron. I appreciate that, and everybody can check out our interview with that we'll have with him next week. Hey, Ethan, we will definitely say a prayer for her next back not doing good. We hope you will feel better, give her some relief. We'll pray for the doctors to give her some wisdom to help her out with that problem. Thank you, Lisa, for always watching the show and being a part of it and commenting each week. Thank you to each and every one of you that always come out. So that poll was just very, 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 very interesting. I thought it would be the other way around. Maybe I'm thinking it just because I don't like the look of him.
Yeah.
Think that's what it is.
A little bias.
Yeah, a little bias. Ethan, man, I'll see you next week, buddy. We'll have a good show. Hopefully we won't have the problem that we had with YouTube and us getting 20 minutes. 15 minutes.
I think we made the best out of it.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, I was sitting here doing all the promo. I was talking, getting ready to invite our guest, and my producer goes, "We're not live." And then I typed in to our buddy in Australia. He's like, "Yeah, you're live here." So something was happening with the US. Then I checked on Twitter, and some people are having an issue. But it corrected it. I did what YouTube said to do a reset, and it worked. So if you guys ever have a problem with that on other shows that it happens to you this week, just click out of it and reload back up, and you'll be all good. Ethan Thompson, love you, buddy. We will see you next week, man. To all you guys, make sure you throw up those if you enjoyed the show tonight. How you liked it, throw that up in the comments. Once again, thanks so very much to Dave and Amy of the Talking Wrestling Pondwater podcast every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Mark Out Moments YouTube page. Check out their merchandise at jumpinthepond.com. They do a wonderful job, and check out their guest this week, this Tuesday night. Also, make sure you don't check out, forget Spinning the Globe Thursday night, 8 p.m. 7 Central. A lot of great podcasts out there. Support them. Watch them when you're bored. Watch them when somebody's yelling at you. Watch them at work and don't do any work. Get yourself into trouble that way, and have fun with it that way. And next week, don't forget, right here on Double Dropkick on a Saturday night DDK, we will welcome in the championship belt maker of so many belts and a guy in the hobby that has his own Facebook page, Ron Edwardson of Red Leather Belts. We will have him on. It's going to be a great, great time. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, making this program so great. I'm so humble. We started out thinking we were only going to get 500 on the show, and we're now over 2,500. The belt giveaway is coming. I also wanted to let you know before we leave about a big, huge teaser, so don't leave just yet. This teaser for the May 31st show, something big once again is coming to the hobby. It's returning to the hobby. A legacy is returning to the hobby. And this is the second teaser into what that is. Right. A legacy returns on the 31st. We will give another teaser next week. And the teaser next week will be a little bit more. There's a little more information. It's going to be epic. What is coming? Absolutely epic. That teaser will be posted just after the show on the Double Dropkick page and all the socials and some other pages. But it's going to be a great time. And it's a show you do not want to miss. May 31st May 31st. I'm telling you, you do not want to miss this legacy that is returning. Greatest announcement in this hobby is coming May 31st. And we're honored it's going to be right here on Double Drop Kick. It's going to be an absolute blast. Thank everybody for watching tonight. It's been great having you. Thanks for commenting. Throw those DTKs up. We will see you next Saturday night right here on Double Drop Kick. So stay kind, stay humble. Good night, everybody.